Next question. This is from Glass Awareness 4170. Is Omnism accepted? And we had to look this one up. So I've been.
Yeah, Omnism
it kind of goes along to the. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of a loosey-goosey idea. I'm not really entirely clear on what people mean by omnism, but omni means all, and you combine that with an ism. So ism is belief, so all beliefs. And it's the idea, like the definition you guys sent me is the recognition and respect of all religion or lack thereof. Those who hold this belief are called omnists, from another question. I had some other stuff there too. But the idea of omnism is, I think, really likable. Like, it's very peacemaking. Because you walk into a whole room of people, and I remember hearing a conversation where two people were disagreeing, and a third person came up and was like, I think you're both right. And I thought, that's cute, except it's not possible, right? Like, they're disagreeing in a fundamental way in which they both couldn't be right. Because if he's right...
Unless all they were arguing about was who had the bigger ego, so... Maybe if it stopped that argument, then you know that that's all they're arguing about. Sorry,
but there's some situations where it's like we can't both be right? So like if I say I have like I'm married, and then you say you're not married about me, and I'm like, well, we can't both be right. Like I'm not married and not married. Like I'm either married or I'm not. Like it might be cute to say, oh, you're both right. Look, you don't have to fight anymore. Let's all have lunch. But it's not realistic. And so that's what omnism strikes me as. Omnism suggests that all religions are superficially different, I think, but they're fundamentally the same. That somehow, like at the core, when you sift down through all the beliefs, they're basically the same. And this is a super popular like belief amongst people who know very little about religions. They tend to know very little about them, so they assume they're all basically the same. But in reality, when you actually study religions, do comparative religion studies, religions are superficially the same and fundamentally different. They're different at fundamental levels, like the nature of reality, who God is, the purpose of existence, what's wrong with the world, how you're going to fix it, what God has or hasn't said, what he wants from us, what he doesn't want us to do, things that are right, things that are wrong. Those are pretty significant differences. Like, for instance, with, say, Islam, if you want to say Islam and Christianity are both right, like, well, Islam and Christianity are fundamentally opposed in that Islam is one of the most central tenets of Islam is that God has no son and he's never begotten anyone. There is no begotten of God. So Jesus is not the son of God, and they teach he did not die on the cross. God tricked people into thinking Jesus died on the cross, but he never did. That's a fundamental teaching in Islam. This is like foundational. It's considered a grievous sin to say that Jesus is the son of God and that he was crucified. But that's central to Christianity, is that, I mean, Jesus is like core. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're not Christian. Christ, you're right, Christian. And so, like, these two can't possibly be the same. Now, they might both agree that you should be nice to your mom, but that's not significant here to the religion. This isn't significant to the nature of the religion. So, like, there's other times, though, where people think, like, I think karma, I can borrow from karma. I can borrow from like Buddhism's idea of selflessness. Those things seem good. You know, I think karma is real. Like you kind of get what you deserve. And I'll be like, wait a minute, that's not karma. That's reaping what you sow. That's a biblical principle. Karma is a belief that your current sufferings are the result of past lives where you sinned and you carried your sin debt, your karmic debt forward. So like you were born crippled because you were a bad person in the last life. Okay, well that's not what people think. They believe in karma because they don't know what karma even is, because they have like this much knowledge of other religions. Or they think Buddhism, the selflessness in Buddhism is really beautiful. I like that. I think Christianity teaches the same thing. I'll be like, well, no, actually it doesn't. Christianity teaches selflessness. Buddhism teaches you don't exist. There is no self. These are very different teachings. Offer yourself, give of yourself, think of others better than yourself. These are Christian teachings. Buddhism, you don't exist, I don't exist, and the goal is to stop thinking you do. And wait a minute, that sounds like destructive to relationships if you actually play it out in real life. It's denial of reality. So the Israelites fell to this, like this. It was called syncretism, like the idea that I'm just going to kind of bring together a bunch of different religions. Mm-hmm. There's actually tons of rebuke in the Old Testament for the Israelites when they tried to like sort of merge with other religions, and God's like, no, I don't want you doing this. I'm teaching you the truth, and I don't want you merging. I don't want you joining. But we've actually got historical records. We've actually found an inscription in an ancient synagogue in Israel that says like to Yahweh and his Asherah. And they took these. The Asherah was this female deity in the Old Testament that pagans around Israel believed in, and they apparently would take these Asherah poles. We read about this in the Old Testament, and they'd put them like in the religious worship of Israel. And so at one point, the synagogue is suggesting that Yahweh and Asherah can join; they can be connected. Yahweh, and then Asherah is like the queen. She's like the queen of heaven kind of figure, and well, we all know how God felt about that. Like, this is not acceptable. This is wrong. These are lies mixing with truth. So I get the impulse for Omnism because it's like, I want to get along. I want to be able to affirm what's true in other religions. I want to do that too. But I don't want to pretend things are true that aren't true. That's delusion, and this will hurt people because these truths do matter. So, like, I can affirm, like, kindness and love are values that many other religions would agree with that. But that's not what makes those religions those religions. It's the very core nature of the things that we have to say, yeah, they're just not true.